Hey, this is Twice Crispy, and you're watching okay. You're watching Twice Crispy. The past few days have been pretty wild for DBD fans. Whoever thought we'd be playing Chucky on the Hawkins map? Stranger things have happened, but it's also really weird. Chucky was announced and is now live on the PTB test server, which is absolutely insane. After playing as and against him for a full day, I decided that this is probably the best killer DLC the game has seen since, well, it's been years. We had a ton of fun with him yesterday, and I can't wait for the full release on November 28th. First, let's go take a look at his ability, perks, and add-ons, and then we can dive into some gameplay analysis. Chucky's power is called Playtime's Over, which has 3 special abilities. Hidey-Ho mode, which is an incredibly strange name, allows him to be undetectable and causes footfalls and footstep audio to appear around the map. The ability feels polished and user-friendly, and it's easy to get a grasp on landing slice and dice hits with only a little bit of practice. While using slice and dice, you can also use the Scamper ability, which lets Chucky vault windows or downed pallets and continue the rush attack. The good guy comes with 3 new perks as per usual. Hex, CHUCKY causes survivors who blind you twice to activate the Hex. Any survivor who now stuns or blinds you becomes blind for 1.5 seconds. This one was a little confusing to me until I saw it in action. Survivors are actually blinded as if they were hit with a beamer or a flashbang, and that's pretty cool. Batteries Included gives you 5% haste when you're within 12 meters of a completed gen, and has a 5-second lingering effect. This perk probably isn't great on its own, but could have potential to pair well with other perks like Stabiffle or Rapid Brutality. Friends Till the End is Chucky's Obsession perk. When you hook someone other than the obsession becomes exposed for 20 seconds and has their aura shown to you for 10. When you hook the obsession and someone else unhooks them, the unhooker now becomes the obsession. This perk might not be the strongest on Chucky, but could have some real potential on mobility killers. Alright, let's take a look at the add-ons. First up, we have the Hard Hat. This is basically the same function as Legion's Iridescent Button. When you use the Scamper ability during Hidey-Ho mode, it breaks the pallet right away. Next up, we have the Iridescent Amulet, which increases the Hidey-Ho mode duration by 100%. This is easily one of the best add-ons for Chucky, as his Hidey-Ho mode's pretty short at just 14 seconds, so being able to have 28 seconds of Hidey-Ho mode is super strong. The Mirror Shards are not as good of an add-on as one might believe. This lets you see the illusionary footfalls around the survivors, but after using this for a few games, it is incredibly difficult to see them from anywhere more than just a few feet away. This is an add-on that I think should see either a significant buff or a complete rework before the official release, as it's just not easy enough to see the footfalls. Next up, we have the Pile of Nails add-on. Upon manually exiting Hidey-Ho mode, Chucky remains undetectable for 5 seconds. The primary use for this is to cancel right before the time expires if you don't find any survivors in Hidey-Ho mode, so you can stay undetectable for a few extra seconds. The Plastic Bag is easily one of the strongest add-ons Chucky has. If a survivor walks through the footfalls, they suffer from exhausted for 15 seconds. This is great for preventing things like Sprint Burst and Lithe and Dead Hard while someone's on a gen and then they run through the footfall. Straight Razor is a great way to save yourself a perk slot by inflicting hemorrhaged and mangled when landing a slice and dice hit. The Portable TV is super situational and probably doesn't quite deserve to be a rare add-on. It increases the slice and dice duration by 100%, but only once the exit gates have been powered, so this is basically just an endgame amulet add-on. Rat Poison is actually a pretty great add-on, especially for being a rare. It's going to show you the auras of survivors within 8 meters for 5 seconds anytime you land a slice and dice. Running Shoes is going to grant 4% movement speed after a Scamper for 3 seconds, which doesn't honestly seem that strong of an add-on, considering that you're already moving faster when you're in the slice and dice. In my opinion, the Silk Pillow is definitely a detrimental add-on. It's going to reduce your terror radius by 4 meters, but Slice and Dice charge time is increased by 75%, which is kind of already a long time at just its base time. Adding 75% charge time to that seems kind of ridiculous. The Yardstick is honestly another great add-on. Anytime you perform a scamper, all survivor auras within 20 meters are revealed to you for 5 seconds. Pair this with Lethal Pursuer and the Rat Poison add-on and you're going to have eyes on the survivors all the time. The automatic screwdriver seems pretty good for being an uncommon. Missing a Slice and Dice reduces the Hidey Ho mode cooldown by 15%, which is honestly pretty huge considering the cooldown is significantly long for the amount of time you get to use Hidey Ho mode for. Next we have the Electric Carving Knife, and I can't tell if this is a pointless add-on or a broken add-on because it decreases the Slice and Dice miss cooldown by 10%. But the miss cooldown almost seems non-existent as it is. The Hairspray and Candle add-on decreases the time the basic attack removes from Hidey Ho mode by 12.5%. I think it might be too early to say, but this might be a pointless add-on because I feel like you'd want to always use your Slice and Dice attack while in Hidey Ho mode instead of the basic attack. Again, this is also situational and it's also just a yellow add-on, so maybe that's okay. I think it's crazy that the jump rope is listed as a yellow add-on. I think this should be green at the minimum and probably even purple. This is going to increase the duration of Slice and Dice by 30%, which is huge, so you can make lots of distance on people going real fast. The Power Drill's another great add-on. Reduces Hidey Ho mode cooldown by 20% after landing a Slice and Dice. Being able to land an undetectable hit then go back into power 20% faster is massive to winning games. Basically just Zancian tactics. We have the Doll Eyes. When in Hidey Ho mode, reveals all auras of windows and down pallets within 20 meters. Probably stay away from this add-on. The Good Guy box is honestly a decent add-on for being brown. It's basically Stabiffle for your special attack. You're going to get a 15% hit cooldown for any time you land a Slice and Dice attack. The Strobing Light add-on is going to decrease your terror radius by 4 meters anytime Hidey Ho mode is in cooldown. This honestly seems preferable over the green Silk Pillow add-on, which is still going to reduce your terror radius by 4 meters, but it's also going to increase your Hidey Ho mode charge time by 75%. Lastly, we have Tiny Scalpel, which kind of feels a little bit lazy to me. It's basically just going to be Bloodhound while you're in Hidey Ho mode. You'll be able to see the blood pools better. Alright, let's talk about Chucky's gameplay. His base kit abilities feel fun to use, and are easy enough for the average player to pick up and learn on a primary level. We've had a lot of killers in recent history with overly complex powers, and people just don't play them because of it. Chucky's Rush is a mix between a Blight Lethal Rush, a Pig Dash, and an Oni Charge, which might sound complicated, but it's actually pretty user-friendly. The only thing that took me a bit to realize is that you don't press M1 while rushing to attack. Instead, you just let go of the rush button. His flicks also take a little bit to master, and it's a lot easier if you use A and D to help you turn. One notable thing I found surprising is that Chucky's a 110 killer, meaning that he's the same speed as Huntress and Deathslinger. Yeah, he's pretty damn slow, but the nice thing about the third-person camera is that it doesn't feel as slow or claustrophobic while walking. This is the only third-person killer in the game so far, which paves the way for all sorts of new killer designs in the future. He definitely doesn't need the added 5% speed since he's basically the king of mind games. He's able to break loops easier since he's almost always hidden behind the tile geometry. The only loops Chucky's really going to struggle on are super safe pallets and the ones that don't hinder your vision of the ground, such as the stairs in the main room of RPD. Realistically, we've seen very little gameplay from Chucky and what he's truly capable of, but from what I can tell, his skill ceiling could be up there with Oni, Blight, and Nurse. We found out that the hug techs are possible, as well as moon rushes and some other crazy techs. Maybe Chucky could be the next S-tier killer. Playing around windows can be especially favorable to Chucky, as I've seen some really gnarly Pakos hits, and it seems like it's easier to get grabs with him than other killers. I'm not sure if this is the intended design, since he's the first killer who's been designed this way. Either way, don't be surprised if you see some ridiculous plays around windows. We can't cover playing him without talking about his amazing voice lines they gave him. He's got some super mean ones.
You can't run from me, you stupid shit.
Really funny lines.
Take this, dipshit.
And some brutal ones too.
You can hide, but you're all
His Mori is so good. They really went above and beyond for this one. It's super brutal, but also has a good bit of humor mixed in. The brutality of the neck stabs are somehow tamed down by the goofiness of the whole thing. There's also this weird bit of ASMR he does in the post-game screen. I'm not sure what to make of it. To wrap things up, let's look at what playing against Chucky's like. Honestly, it's a bit of a mixed bag on the PTB, but generally speaking, he's pretty intimidating. The combination of stealth mixed with his small size makes for a really strong mind game killer, possibly the strongest one in the game. Not being able to see him over loops and tiles is tough to play around. There is counterplay to this though. Using aura reading perks that shows the killer's aura is super strong against this little guy. I tried out all sorts of killer aura builds, and I haven't found the best combo yet, but some good ones are Alert, Kindred, Troubleshooter, Scene Partner, and Buckle Up. Being able to see the guy behind a small bush or a rock makes the world of a difference when looping. Sometimes you really just need to shut the fuck up and listen when you're playing against him. There was more than a few times I let my guard down only to have him pop up out of nowhere on me. The footfalls are pretty easy to ignore since they appear near all the survivors anywhere on the map. The problem with this is that it gives you a false sense of security, and I'm pretty sure that was the intended design. Anytime you see the footfalls, you should be listening for this little dingus's crazy laugh. Dodging his rush attack is a lot like dodging Oni or Pig. Pulling away from the tile after going around a corner is a great way to avoid taking a hit, as his turn rate is slowed when he's rushing. Keeping objects between the two of you is essential since he can close the gap super fast with his rush if you're caught out in the open. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to give it a like and consider subscribing to the channel to help us keep growing. We also have an amazing Discord community, which I linked in the description.